Hi, what's up? The topic of today's video is going to be a little bit more philosophical than most of my videos. A couple of points that I want to make with this video. If you're into a thing and then you step away from it for a period of time and then come back to it, don't be surprised when a lot of things have changed in the interim. Secondly, it's not a bad thing to ask why. The reason that I'm even making this video is because very thin threads and very insignificant, seemingly insignificant events occurred over the last week. If any one of those things didn't happen, this video wouldn't be happening. The case is that those things did happen, and because they happened in the way they happened, I'm about to share with you something that I learned that I had no clue as to what was going on. So, with that in mind, let's go out to the desert. So this is the spot where I was last week, just rummaging around here looking for any kind of spent casings. This is an area that is not very popular for shooting, but people come out here to shoot. It's open to shooters, and occasionally you'll find some components. And I was out here with the dog, actually up on the hill over there, rock collecting, because there's a shale up there that's like got a purple hue to it, and I'm collecting some of that for a stonework project at the homestead, but that's not the topic of the video. But anyways, I was up in this area and I was looking for brass, and there's an area about 20 feet over here where there's a lot of shotgun shells, like 20 gauge. You see it right now, 20 gauge shotgun hulls and some 410 shotgun hulls. And in the midst of that, I found this cartridge. And just for size comparison, there's a 2 3/4 inch 410 cartridge. So, given the fact that I'm standing amongst some very weathered shotgun hulls, and I find this in the middle of them, this is the only example that I found, I was thinking, what kind of shotgun did that come from, right? So I'm standing here and I'm trying to read the head stamp with these 50-year-old eyes, and I just couldn't read it. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to just throw this in my pocket, and when I get home, I'll put on the reading glasses and see if I can see it. And when I got home, to my surprise, the head stamp read 223 Remington. Now, some of you probably know what this is, but you got to remember that I took about a 15-year hiatus, a 13-year hiatus from shooting, and a lot can happen in 13 years. But apparently, around 2002, there was a company that started, and this is, I can read it now because I cleaned the head off, but PCA was formed about 2002. And what they were doing was producing polymer cased ammunition in 223, and I believe they dabbled in 308. That deal was that they could cut the weight of a 223 cartridge in half the weight. So they manufactured 2 different varieties of this ammunition in 2 different calibers. The first variety was a gray polymer. And then that was the commercial variant, and then there was a white polymer that was a military variant. And then after they got tooled up and started producing ammunition, they produced them in many different colors, and that denoted the type and weight of the bullet that was in it. And this whole program was plagued with reliability issues. So I guess the problem with these was that they tend to separate at the neck. And just from doing some amateur forensic work here, because this is the only example of this that I saw up here, I'm willing to guess that this was the only round that went through the gun. The case separated, and they needed that piece got stuck in the chamber, and that was the end of their day with the 223. So that's what I discovered. This company was formed in 2002. They produced ammunition for about 3 years, and they went belly up in 2005. The idea was that they were trying to get the military interested in these bullets. And what a great idea. You know, the typical infantryman's loadout is what, 200 rounds? And if you can cut the weight by half, you can double his payload in ammunition to 400 rounds. That keeps him in the fight twice as long. So, you know, what a great idea. The problem is that the technology, the polymer technology, didn't exist that would sustain the kind of pressures that are inherent in this rifle cartridge. So fast forward 2011. A company called PCP Ammunition was manufacturing polymer case ammunition in 5 calibers: 223, 7.62 by 3.9, 308, 338 Lapua, and 50 BMG, all in polymer case. And they produced a run in 2013. They released it to the general public. They did their initial run. There was a lot of problems associated with this ammunition as well, in terms of reliability. And actually saw a video of a guy that actually destroyed a magazine because they were shooting this in a fluted chamber, and it allowed enough of the back pressure that is usually the fluted chamber. You know, fluted chamber is really designed to keep the brass cartridge from sticking in the chamber. It allows some of that gas to bleed by the cartridge, and you know, carbon. You know, put some carbon on the cartridge and allow it to be extracted. But with the polymer case ammunition, it actually melted the polymer and blew out the base of the magazine, sending the spring God knows where, and blew the base of the magazine through the range bag and embedded into the wooden bench that they were shooting on. It was pretty hairy. Link in the description to that video. So, you know, great ideas. It's nice to know there's people out there that are willing to take the chance and try new technologies, but it just goes to show that the tried and true brass case, and it's a hard thing to duplicate. Of course, we all know the less expensive alternative is steel, and the advantage of a steel case is that it's inexpensive. The disadvantages is that a lot of the stuff is imported and it uses Berdan primers, and you can't reload it. Same thing is true with these. You can't reload these either, but you know, I don't know too many infantrymen that are going back after the fight and picking up the brass to bring home, to bring back to base to reload. So, but that was kind of cool. I learned something new, and so can you if you just keep your eyes open and keep asking why. What's this? I have a question. It can be answered that quick by going on the interwebs and doing the Google thing and typing in the thing and pushing the thing, and yeah, so there you go. Sure's pretty up here. Polymer cased rifle ammunition is kind of a new concept to me, but apparently it's been around for over a decade. It's not that I haven't ever heard of any alternative to the status quo. Back in the mid-90s, I read an article in one of the major gun magazines. I don't remember what it was, and I remember reading about a sporting rifle. Actually, it was a bolt-action rifle that fired caseless ammunition. Did a little research, and it's an Austrian gun manufacturer. I know I'm going to butcher the name, but it's VEC 91, and it's a bolt-action rifle. It uses caseless ammo, and it has a electronic ignition system. So the cartridge is the propellant So you pull the trigger, it goes bang, and nothing comes out of the gun but gas. So you eliminate an extraction system, and because it's electronic ignition, you eliminate all the mechanism of a trigger assembly, the sear and etc. That was a very simple design. In fact, based on the research that I did yesterday, they manufactured that gun all the way up through 2007. I don't believe they're making it anymore, but they manufactured that gun. It was a commercial success for 20 years in Europe, not so much here in the United States, but you can still find some of that stuff laying around. HK developed a weapons platform called the G11 that damn near bankrupted the company. Timing had a lot to do with that. That occurred back in the tail end of the Cold War era, and yeah, it was a very complicated gun, and it was a failure. Yeah, so that stuff I kind of knew about, but polymer case ammo blew my mind. So where does philosophy play a role in this? Well, once I got home and started thinking about it, it occurred to me the events that had to happen for my curiosity to be piqued. Stick with me for a second. It was a Wednesday morning. I had an hour and a half to do whatever I wanted to do. So I decided to go out and do a little rock collecting. I didn't really do any rock collecting. I was just looking for a way to get my truck as close as I could get it to where I needed to be to collect the rock. I wasn't really going to collect any rock. So I went exploring. I didn't have to do that day. I could have done it any other day. I could have done it Saturday. But I did it that day. And I wasn't really going to go walking around looking for brass. I just happened to have an extra 10 minutes to kill before I had to go pick up my daughter from school. And I had the dog with me, so I came out down off the hill into that clearing, and I just let the dog out to run around. And while she was running around doing her thing, I was just walking around with my head down, and I found that cartridge. Now, I didn't have to pick up that cartridge. There wasn't any value in it. It just stuck out like a dick in a Disney movie. It was different. So I picked it up. And I couldn't read the head stamp. But if I could have read the head stamp, would I have kept it? Or would I have went 223 Remington? Interesting. I'll have to look that up. No, I couldn't read it. And I wanted to read it before I threw it away. So I put it in my pocket. That made it a priority. So when I got home and I emptied my pockets and I found that cartridge, oh, I got to go Google this. And I sat down and I read the head stamp. Whoa, 223 Remington. What? Send. And voila, a video is born. What's the thesis of this video? Well, I think it's important in life to be curious. When you've reached a point in your life and you think you know it all, you're in a bad place. The older I get and the more I learn, the more I realize there's more to learn. But here I am at 50, and I'm still curious, and I still want to know why. And I hope the message that you get from this is that never stop asking why or what, or never stop being curious. Never stop being curious. It's what life is all about. So I hope this video was informative. I hope it was entertaining. If it was, you know the routine. And until next time, you have fun, stay safe, shoot straight, keep your powder dry, and you have a splendid day. Stay curious. Bye for now. Oh, as a side note, if you'd like to know more about polymer cased ammunition and or caseless ammunition, I'm going to provide a couple of links down in the description for you to click at your leisure. Check it out, and Google's your friend.